We've been talking today with Omar Moss, and he is a medical technologist in the lab at the hospital, and we've been talking about how you can donate and how important it is to donate blood. It's something we definitely need at the hospital. So, Omar, tell us some more about what people can do.
Well, there is actually a newer machine called a red cell pheresis machine, and what it does is it allows us to get a double set of packed red cells from a single donor. In this way, especially if you have an unusual blood type like O negative, we can pull 2 packed red cell units off of you. There are some requirements, and it does take longer. The machine actually does similar to what the platelet pheresis machine does. It just takes the red cells and gives you back your plasma.
Okay. I'm going to interrupt and just ask on this. So, because I've donated blood before, and so someone would be in the Lagerborg dining room, which is in the hospital across from our cafeteria, or just beyond our cafeteria, and they can go in there, and they've got a nice, comfortable chair to lay on while they're doing this. And this procedure that you're talking about now is going to take a little bit longer.
Right.
Okay, because normally it takes about 45 minutes.
Yeah, about 45 minutes.
Okay, so this one's going to take longer.
Right, it will. And usually they have one machine there. And so if one person is doing it, you'd have to wait until they were finished. But they take you aside and they'll ask you specifically, hey, would you like to do a double donation? And they really ask specifically folks that have unusual blood types. But there are some requirements. You need to be, for females, you need to be 5'5", weigh at least 175 pounds, and your hemoglobin has to be about 13.3 grams per deciliter.
Wow. Now, why?
Because when we take a double donation of red cells,
you're depleting them.
That's right.
Sure.
And so we'd want you to be a little stouter to be able to, and same with men. You need to be at least 5'1", weigh at least 150 pounds, and your hemoglobin needs to be about 3.3 grams per deciliter. And with men, their hemoglobin usually runs a little higher.
Okay.
Females, because of they commonly have a little bit of iron deficiency anemia, especially premenopausal women, and so it's uncommon to find very many that can do a double donation. But guys definitely. And it's real useful since the blood types O pos, O neg, A neg, and B neg are always in high demand. They really request that those try to do a double donation if they can. And there's no like extra cookie or anything other than us saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, we really definitely need it.
I can attest to the fact they will not let you out of there until you are absolutely steady on your feet.
That's right. Yeah. They usually give you snacks. And
I'm one of the woozy ones afterwards. Yeah.
And I'll move on and let you know how to volunteer. We have some great volunteers at BRMC. They're always helpful, and they can always use more help. And I have, some contact information for volunteer services. On that day, we like people to be there to greet folks that come in to donate and to help hand out, the snacks and just make people feel comfortable and assist in getting more people down here. They'll make phone calls for us and everything. You can contact volunteer services at, and this is through the Red Cross, at 1-501-614-4435. And that's an extension 4478.
Okay, why don't you repeat that again and make sure that people understand this is not the hospital volunteers.
Right.
This is for the American Red Cross. They could be hospital volunteers if they want to take and come and do this. But yeah, what's that number again, Omar?
It's 1-501-614-4435, and it's extension 4478.
Okay.
Okay. And they're the volunteer folks, and they can get you set up for the volunteers for the Red Cross. You can also go through the hospital volunteers too. I usually have a few of them there as well, and so either way will work well.
Have enough folks to meet and greet and make sure they're getting their snacks at the end.
Yeah, and it's always a good thing to volunteer for anything. I feel like
absolutely
that helps the community.
Yeah, that really does give back to the community in so many ways. I wanted to ask you too, you were talking about, you went through some of them quickly, and I wanted to kind of bring that back to, what are the unusual blood types again?
Okay. O negative is, what's nice about it, it's not the most rare, but it's fairly rare. But what's nice about it is we can give that to any blood type.
Really?
You can give O neg to an A person. You can give it to a B to an AB. The reason is O really means null or zero. There's none of those specific antigen types on the surface of that cell.
Okay.
So it is an ABO incompatibility will not happen with an O negative unit.
Okay.
So that's kind of, they like to say it's the universal donor. Right? Well, it is, as long as the patient hasn't made antibodies to anything else. But O negative is what we give out in emergencies and things like that. Rarer types would be like your AB. The problem with AB is we can only give it to AB patients.
Oh, okay.
So since it's a rare type, we're not too worried about collecting ABs. The other rare stuff was anything Rh negative, A negative or B negative. The thing about Rh, let's see, ABO is your ABO types, and then Rh is your positive or negative. And the thing about Rh, that's the one where if you're a female of childbearing age, and you have a baby, and you're an Rh negative patient, and you have a baby that's Rh positive, and when you have your baby, there's a possibility of your blood mixing with your baby and the mama.
Right.
And so then the mom's body will say, hey, this blood isn't mine, and make an antibody against the baby. And it won't affect that first baby, but if you have another baby after that, and your next baby is also Rh positive, if you can potentially attack your child,
right.
your baby, your immune system will. That's what RhoGAM does for us.
Okay.
After you've had your first baby, they'll give you a dose of RhoGAM, and that will prevent the mom from making
the antibodies that are going to attack.
The baby.
Yeah.
And so, for that reason, we try to, any mom of childbearing age, we try to make sure they get the Rh negative blood, if they're Rh negative. Also, on those, whenever I have a patient, a female childbearing age, and I'm typing and screening their blood, and it comes out that their Rh is negative, I have to do an extra test to verify that they are in fact negative. So that's another 15 minutes of warming it and adding some different reagents to it.
So that you've got to
right.
make sure that it absolutely is
that's
testing.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
And so
because it could be a false positive.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we really verify them because of that. And so that's why Rh negative, and Rh negative is kind of a fairly rare type too. So that's why we try real hard to collect those if we can. So if you're Rh negative, double donation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Now, on the, what are the most commons? O positive?
O positive and A positive
and
are the
A
two
positive.
most common.
Okay.
Yeah. The way I stock my refrigerator at BRMC is I usually have about 25, 30 O positives, 25, 30 A positives. Then I have about 10 A negatives, 10 O negatives if I'm lucky, and 2 B positives, 2 AB negatives, and then maybe 2 B positives.
And this is their, do you refresh this daily, weekly? Daily. Wow.
When I come in the morning, I go through my refrigerator and I say, oh, I'm 10 A positives down, and so I call the Red Cross and order 10 more A positives or whatever it might be.
Okay. And that's why we really want to get the point across that with this blood drive that's coming up, give us that date and time again, please.
Okay. That is February 27th at 7 a.m. at the Lagerborg Dining Room. That's Wednesday.
Oh, that's a Wednesday? Okay, starts at 7 a.m. How late will you go?
Till 7 p.m.
7 to 7. That's great. So before work or after work?
Right.
Lunch hours.
Yeah,
you can accommodate.
You can get in there.
Yeah, because it's important to have that supply on hand, and as you said, it reduces the cost of the blood that we then purchase.
Oh, yeah. I should mention, too, that just because you can schedule yourself in doesn't mean you have to. If you're, usually a lot of our employees donate a lot. And if you're working and it's hard to get away, I know it can be, it's okay to just come in at any time. And I'll announce overhead in the hospital when their weight's kind of low and when you can get in. And just please donate.
Right.
We need it, absolutely.
We absolutely do, and I don't know that there's any good time of year when you don't need blood.
Right.
So when I know in the summer we've got all sorts of accidents that come in, boating accidents and that kind of thing, and this is just and that's of course accidents, but you've got your general surgeries that are scheduled
And in the winter, we have the inclement weather accidents
yeah,
too.
Yep, and we see those.
And we do have, with this being a retirement community, we have an aging population, and a lot of them have to get units of blood. And unfortunately, there's more of them than eligible donors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard. We have to kind of make up for that to help them out.
Right.
You know.
Right, and we encourage everyone, you're healthy, you meet the criteria,
Mm-hmm.
go online to the
Mhm.
American Red Cross and check that out as well.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And there's just a lot of opportunity for you to give back to the community that we all know and love so well, and it could be, it could go to help your family, your friends.
That's right.
That's what it's used
It
for.
most likely will. It is sent to be tested in Little Rock,
Mm-hmm.
but then it comes back to us. We get a lot of it back. I mean, it is for the region. It's not necessarily that it'll go to you, but it will go to somebody that needs it, and you can direct it if you have to.
Well, and we
if you
love
want
the
to.
idea that it is all being sent out to be tested to make sure it's,
Well, right,
it's
yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
We want to not have any problems with something coming back
Right.
that.
And also on the website, when you go there, you can check on eligibility requirements and any questions that you might have. It will answer it for you. If something's still not clear, if I didn't mention it or bring it up, just go to the website. They have a list of all your donor requirements. The same little quiz that they give you when you go to donate, it's on there.
Mm-hmm.
Things like, were you in Europe in 1990, and all that's
Really?
listed for you.
Okay, so they want to check and find out.
Right. If you want to make sure before you show up, and your time's limited, and I know all of our time's kind of limited, you can check ahead of time to see if you are eligible.
Because these will be all the questions that will be asked by the folks prior to your even donating
That's
blood.
right.
Yeah.
They have a little computer.
Yeah, it's all
program.
very private. It's all, it's all anonymous, and you're giving the information that
That's right.
they need to know to keep our blood supply absolutely pure.
That's right.
So, yeah. Omar, thank you so much. You are always such a delight to have on the show. You just bring us this wealth of information, and I certainly know that I've been educated more about blood drives than I've ever known in my life. So thanks for coming on the show today. Will you come back and see us again soon?
Absolutely, and thank you for having me.
All right, and we want to make this a very successful blood drive. One more time, the date and time.
Okay, February 27th, that's a Wednesday, at Lagerborg Dining Room from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
All right, come on out and join us and give the gift of life. Thanks for joining us today for BRMC's Healthy Connections. We'll be back with you again next week.